Oh, nice. Glad you can say it. 5 points the margin between Morris and Brabham when it comes down the overall point score. Bo Robinson and Bill Hines, Mr. Front Row, will join him there, the Road Pod Transport entry, as the Expression session starts 14 laps earlier. Sean Richardson and Craig Dontis on the next row. Greg Gartner and Gavin Harlan from Arizona. Travis Melbourne and Matty Brabham. Back to Robbie Gordon and Paul Morris. And the showstopper starting from the back of the field. That won't deter him. He just gets to do it twice in 2 races.
Absolutely. Now, keep in mind, folks, for those of you that hadn't been watching in the past year, you get points every time you're out on the track, whether it's a race or it's a qualifying session, and he who has the most points at the end of the weekend is crowned the champion here for this weekend for a race here in Perth. That being said, yeah, you get the points you need for qualifying well, you get the points you need for racing well and finishing up front, but then, of course, you get penalized for being that talented, and you get pushed to the back of the pack. It is always a full inversion in Stadium Super Truck, so our faster competitors in the rear, slower competitors in the front, and as you just went through the grid, that's why you see the top stars in Super Trucks all the way in the back of the pack, except for one difference with Greg Gartner.
Gardner got put back for not having a complete truck out there yesterday in the race, and has been told to behave themselves with the limited spare parts inventory that these trucks do carry. He's been put to the rear of the field. There was talk about him going to his original grid spot, but it's gone to the back. It doesn't really matter because the competition cautions that come up, of which there's 2 in this race, are an extended race to 14 laps now. We've had that much fun. We'll give him 2 laps, and Bill Hines, absolute rocket start.
Early jump. I wasn't even ready for it. There's Hines up and going. Yanks a start on Robinson and Richardson right there. They go into this long sweeping turn 1. Getting into the first jump of 4 on this circuit. Hines a little squirrely right there, collects himself, gets over the jump. As you see him single file, nice and easy as we hop on board with the Speed Energy number 7 of Robbie Gordon up over this section. We're going to be up on the 3-wheelers. This is going to be a big torque wheelie. Those Toyo tires get the power to the ground. You see him. Each one of these trucks up on 3, up on 3. That's when they're really starting to loosen up. The tires are going to heat up. You're going to see that inside front tire higher and higher in the air as the race goes on.
And Sean Richardson moves himself up to 2nd place now. The Positive Trailers entry. The man from the UK now lives between Australia and America in his spare time. Is right on the back of Bill Hines, who's just stacked the field up as they run down the hill towards turn number 7.
You see there's number 83 of Matty Brabham. Matty Brabham debuting in Supercar this weekend as well. Then is the DeVilbiss Hawk number 83. Brabham and Creed. Creed gets to the inside there. He bumps into the back of Gordon. These guys are 2 and 3 wide going into that last turn right there. And we see Dontis. He's off in the grass right now, off into the weed.
Oh, God.
Oh, and there goes his hood right off the bat. Dontis had a trouble keep that hood on earlier on from an accident earlier with Gartner. Now it is back off again. Big race as they bump back and forth. Him and Robinson, they swap some paint. Now Robinson's hood is starting to peel up as well. I told you it was not going to be a friendly race. We've got 4 laps, count caution. 4 laps, count caution. 4 laps, checkered flag.
Brabs.
It's going to be an all-out battle.
Brabs is off at the top of turn number 4. He'll drop himself to the back of the field. So the barroom brawl begins at Barbagallo Raceway, and Brabs with all the work to do. Let's check this out. Dontis did the Greg Gartner. This is exact carbon copy of what we saw from Gartner. Then his hood disappears.
Look at that. You know, possibly maybe the mechanics forgot to put the phone book in and got Dontis' seat, and he couldn't see where he was going, so he had to peel the hood off so he could see. As you see right there, the hood goes flying now. Open sights, as you see. That is the Ridge Rider, the dude. He had a wild shot right there of that hood going right over his head. And that was really wild stuff, and that's just the very beginning of. Here we are, a lap forward. The hood is there. Looks like we've got Gardner back over in his favorite section of the track. He loves the off-road section. He's one of the only 2 drivers that are using that today. Both him and Dontis seem to be getting the power of the ground off in the weeds.
He's become the new Keegan Kincaid when it comes to being more time on the dirt, in the right way, of course. We look back to Travis Milburn. He said to me just before the race, I just need more seat time. I need to get a handle of these trucks. This weekend has been the turning point for his career. He's been a solid driver inside the top 5, as now he pressures Robbie Gordon.
Look at these guys just stacked right up on one another. Look at the dude taking a different line, going to the outside. Did it work for him? I don't think so. Because right now, Gavin Harlan in the Royal Purple number 55, we've seen him running really, really well this weekend. See him taking advantage and overtaking the dude. But how about Bill Hines? Bill Hines now 3 of 14 into it, still leading.
That's 2. All right,
another hood goes off, another bonnet goes off right there. I believe that might be Sean Richardson's bonnet goes flying. Hines, he's taking some heavy, heavy pressure from Robbie Gordon. But look at, he's not giving. He's going right up the middle of these Toyota rims, which means they're not going to pass him in the air if he keeps doing that. So being smart about it, he's not blocking. He's just running his line and racing.
Well, Dontus's hood has now been turned into 300 pieces on pit straight. We're on board with Paul Morris, who continues his charge through the field. He's up to 8th place now. Nowhere to go between he, Dontus, and Gavin Harlan. Up to the top of turn number 4. Expect the competition caution anytime soon, and we'll need that.
They're going to need that caution. They're just all stacked right up on top of one another here. As you see go in, we should be seeing that caution soon. We are right now on 4, lap 4, but wild racing. These guys.
After what seems like at least a year or two of unconfirmed rumors and speculation surrounding what's next for the Assassin's Creed franchise, Ubisoft has finally revealed and confirmed a number of details for the next couple of Assassin's Creed games at their Ubisoft Forward event, which took place over the weekend. So let's get caught up on all things Assassin's Creed. I'll do an entire Ubisoft Forward recap, and I also want to explain why a whole mess of people thought that the next Assassin's Creed game, Assassin's Creed Mirage, was going to get an AO rating. Let's get into it. If you're not familiar with the title or missed the previous leaks and rumors about it, Assassin's Creed Mirage is the next Assassin's Creed title in the works, which was originally going to be a DLC for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but has turned into a full-fledged game to help give Ubisoft more time to work on their ambitious live service platform, Assassin's Creed Infinity. During the Ubisoft showcase, we got an official reveal trailer for Assassin's Creed Mirage, and for a cinematic trailer, it was actually pretty strong. In this game, you will play as a young Basim, 20 years before the events of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. In the trailer, we see the origins of Basim as he's indoctrinated as an assassin, with additional shots of him mastering his skills and running through the streets of Baghdad, where the game will primarily take place. It's also been reported that Mirage is a return to basics for the series, moving away from the franchise's more recent RPG trappings to instead focus more on stealthing your way through a much smaller map, fast parkour, close combat, and of course, assassinations. A blurb on the game's official website reads, "A tribute to an original. Experience a modern take on the features and gameplay that have defined a franchise for 15 years." In addition, executive producer of the entire franchise, Mark Alexis Cote, said in an interview with VGC that Mirage will be a commemoration of everything they've done in the franchise so far, so it will be less of an RPG and more of an adventure game. Also in Mirage, for the first time, players will be able to visit Alaba, which we see being built in the trailer, and is pretty key to the franchise's lore for a number of reasons, but notably because it's believed to be the birthplace of the Creed in Assassin's Creed. Now, as I mentioned at the top, there was a bit of a surprise after the trailer dropped. Listings started appearing of the game with an AO rating, or adults only rating, from the ESRB in the States, and a PEGI 18+ rating.
8 hours in Foxhole, only 8 hours?
For the ratings, alongside intense violence, blood and gore, sexual themes, and partial nudity, real gambling was listed, leading many to assume the worst, that the game was riddled with so many loot box and gambling mechanics that it netted itself an AO rating. However, it turns out that was a false listing. The official Assassin's Creed account
They just leveled
Monday,
an entire half a region with artillery, slowly creeping through 120, 150mm shells.
Only ESRB rating. While the game is still pending rating, we want to reassure players that no real gambling or loot boxes are present in the game. So that's a relief. But you know what's also a little bit of a relief? It's the pricing for Assassin's Creed Mirage. The standard edition of the game is only going to cost $50. The deluxe edition will be $60, and the fancy collector's edition will be $150. You know, that's $20 cheaper than most new games right now, and $10 cheaper than the kind of industry standard. So I think it's a good move. You know, it sets expectations, I guess, for players who are maybe looking for that next huge, massive RPG experience, but also it kind of sets expectations in that they're saying, hey, this is going to be
it probably actually isn't Decay, maybe just
less for it. You know, maybe that game comes out and reviewers say,
I think the spade was reset, maybe? I don't know.
Oh, maybe this should have been 30 instead. But I think that Ubisoft taking the initiative here to just reduce the price at launch is probably a really good step forward. And it'd be nice to see this going into the future of games where we maybe have a $50 tier of games that are maybe shorter but also high budget. I don't know. Could be cool. I think it's kind of interesting, but let me know.
Advice for someone diving in for the first time: use your microphone, play the little tutorial at the home island. Go to a front where there's a lot of blue and green mashed up to each other, so you have activity. Just ask questions. Let people know you're new and ask what to do.
Confirmations during this year's Ubisoft Forward. For example, later this year, Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
You don't necessarily need to use your microphone a lot, but listen to people.
Right now being called The Last Chapter. There's an Assassin's Creed mobile game in the works, codenamed Jade, which is set in ancient China and will allow players to create their own character. And then, in addition to an Assassin's Creed television series, there's also another mobile game being developed in partnership with Netflix as well. However, the biggest reveals, or confirmations I should say, since a good number of this stuff leaked or was rumored about beforehand, were the announcements for games currently codenamed Red, Hexe, and Invictus. Assassin's Creed Infinity.
Your buddy's Warden? Welcome to the right side.
Will actually be a hub for Assassin's Creed experiences and players. Codename Red was described during the showcase by Cote as the next premium flagship title and the future of.
Oh, your buddy's Warden got into the dev branch.
Developed by Ubisoft Quebec, which was the Odyssey team, and it will take place in feudal Japan, which obviously is a setting that people have been waiting for a very, very long time. Then there's the game.
Are they delayed until Wednesday?
Which is being.
Did they say that?
Clint Hawking and Ubisoft Montreal, and was said by Cote to be a very different type of experience.
Unless they said that, I wouldn't believe it.
Assassin's Creed games, I'm assuming. Now, some are already speculating it seems like Hexe could be a horror game, and while Ubisoft didn't provide many details during the showcase, before the event, there were leaks and rumors suggesting the game would be set in 16th century Europe with a focus on the Holy Roman Empire witch trials. So that does seem to add up with the teaser trailer that Ubisoft showed off. Both Project Red and Hexe were shown to be a part of the Assassin's Creed Infinity Hub, and Cote has gone on to say since that the games will coexist and be supported simultaneously at some point, no release window on those. However, Cote did talk to VGC about another game, codenamed Invictus, which is a standalone Assassin's Creed multiplayer game being worked on by developers who previously worked on For Honor and Rainbow Six Siege. This one seems really far out. It's not even clear yet what platform or platforms Invictus is coming to, but it sounds like we will hear more about it in the fall. All right, that's it for Assassin's Creed news. If you're here for the Ubisoft Forward recap, there wasn't much, but let's get into it. First up, there was some new gameplay for Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope, which showed off in-depth combat with a fun train fight where you have to combat a giant wiggler while riding a train while also facing off hordes of enemies. The game will get 3 DLC add-ons, the last of which will bring Rayman to the game as a playable hero. There was also a new gameplay trailer for Skull and Bones, which was also accompanied by a testimonial section where real-life people on the internet talked about actually playing the game for the Insiders program. So, you know, it's a real game that's actually coming out later this year. You know, fingers crossed, hopefully nothing else goes wrong with that game. The new trailer did show off ship customization for weapons and armor. Riders Republic, Ubisoft's extreme sports game, is getting a BMX add-on that comes with an Area 51 type of map. That looks like it's out later this week. Ubisoft also revealed the first look at The Division Heartland, which is a standalone game in the Division universe, which is being developed by Red Storm and takes place in the United States of America, where you protect a small rural town called Silver Creek. Meanwhile, The Division 2 Season 10 kicks off this week, and there's another season, Season 11, which will hit before the end of the year. Oh, also there is a Division mobile game and a Rainbow Six mobile game in the works. Ubisoft is teaming up with Netflix to bring more games to the Netflix app or games service, starting with Valiant Hearts. Also, Ubisoft Plus is free for the next month. Trackmania is coming to console and cloud platforms next year with full crossplay and cross-progression support, which is great. And Rocksmith Plus got a trailer. If you didn't know, there is a new Rocksmith game out, or like an updated version of Rocksmith. You need a subscription to play it, but it seems like a fun way to practice guitar, I guess. It's very surprising that we didn't hear anything about that game and now it's just out. So if you're interested in learning guitar or you liked Rocksmith games in the past, you can go check it out. Lastly, Just Dance 2023 edition is out November 23rd, which you might have known, but the news here is that it's getting a new mode/hub that lets you play with up to 6 people online at a time. Also, it looks like it will be skipping last-gen consoles, and from here on out, there won't be a traditional annual release, just updates to Just Dance 2023. Now that just about covers it, but there's one more thing I want to talk about before I end this video. Notably, Ubisoft as a company has been dealing with workplace culture issues in which it has been losing a lot of talent across various studios for a myriad of things, but part of those issues were allegedly related to unfair treatment as a result of systemic sexism and racism, harassment, and bullying, while some of the other reasons might have been more related to crunch. Well, before the Ubisoft showcase, it was announced that Ubisoft is launching a 5-year plan to help improve racial, ethnic, and cultural diversity across the entire company. The initiative is called Project Rise. In an official Ubisoft blog post explained, "We know we have room for growth when it comes to the representation of racial, ethnic, and cultural diversity, both within Ubisoft and the gaming industry at large. Over the course of the next 5 years, we will focus on 3 key areas: talent acquisition, internal talent development, and external talent pipeline development." All right, so just to summarize but not oversimplify here, it looks like Ubisoft is looking to address their work culture issues by hiring more diversely, and then also by growing talent internally, so giving their employees a career trajectory essentially, so that they'll actually want to stay at the company. And then that third point about external talent acquisition or external talent pipelines, that sounds like a way to develop more diverse talent outside of the company that they can eventually bring into the company. I don't know if that's through contract work or through outside academic programs or something like that, but it sounds like that's kind of the focus. In addition to those things, it also seems like they're looking to improve accessibility for their games across the board. Now, whether or not this plan will be effective, it's hard to say. It's a 5-year plan, and even then, these things don't really happen overnight, right? Even after the 5 years, there's probably still going to be a lot of work to be done. But I think announcing something like this publicly, an actual strategy to combat this thing that they've had issues with, is certainly a step in the right direction. All right, that's going to do it for today. Let me know what your favorite Ubisoft announcement was from the entire showcase, or from the Assassin's Creed showcase, which was like embedded inside the Ubisoft Forward. Certainly let us know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and for more video game news and updates, stay tuned right here to Inside Gaming.
So Tim Pool sat down with the libertarian commenter and comedian. Is he still a comedian? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Dave Smith. I had a debate with Dave Smith years ago. I
to go back to that one.
Yeah, I'm curious as to. I haven't listened. I mean, it was 6, 7, 8. I don't know. I don't even know when it was. It was a long time ago. He seemed like a nice guy, but also had libertarian ideas. So I imagine that was, but he also seemed like a smart guy, which if he's gonna go on Tim Pool, sometimes that tends to be a problem for Tim. Yeah. Because even like a smart libertarian is going to be kryptonite for Tim Pool, because Tim is going to wade into anything that he doesn't know about.
Especially one that takes pride in details.
Right. Here is Tim Pool and libertarian comedian Dave Smith talking about Donald Trump's foreign policy record.
There's a war powers resolution coming up. This is the big project of the Libertarian Party right now, to try to get you to go call your congressman. There's a bill in the Congress.
He's just talking about Yemen, anti-Yemen war stuff right now.
And I will say that there's a lot that Dave Smith is going to be talking about that I agree upon. I don't necessarily come at the same conclusions from the same place, but this is one of those areas where things intersect. The problem with libertarianism is in my mind, is economic and the political choices there. But from a standpoint of like having Congress revitalize the War Powers Act, revoking the authorization for use of military force, largely speaking, I think there's some agreement here. But remember, Tim Pool doesn't have an ideology. He just knows that his money comes from Trump supporters.
He's a Republican, yeah.
Here we go.
The House and the Senate to try to bring an end to this genocide.
I gotta push back a little bit just because I think in terms of war, Trump was the best president of my lifetime.
Why?
Because he was getting our troops out. He didn't start any new ones.
He didn't start any new ones. He definitely gave it his best try when he murdered Soleimani and could have gotten us into the worst war in the last 20 years.
I didn't say it was.
Thank God.
I didn't say that was good. Who was better? Every other president in my life started several wars. And so I understand, like, bro, drone
okay, but started. Listen, I like that talking point. I like that the talking point is he didn't start a new war, rather than it being like he was so great because he was so like he was such a war hawk, like it would have been with previous Republicans. But I mean, okay, he didn't start any new wars. That is technically true. Again, he flirted in Iran and flirted in Venezuela. But the number of civilian casualties actually went up in his, he didn't end any of the wars. He continued all of them.
I also want to add that not only did civilian deaths in Afghanistan
Hey everybody, welcome. Welcome back to another episode of Lights, Camera, Trash. We have a very special guest today. You've seen him here on the channel before. I'm, of course, referring to Tom Hanks.
What about his wig? Hi, I'm Tim Hanks. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Aren't I likable and stuff?
I actually found him scary in that.
Yeah.
He was like real tall and intimidating.
Really
yeah, you could cut that to horror music.
Hello, neighbor.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day for a neighbor. Please won't you be my neighbor?
We're playing the Da Vinci Code, a game filled with puzzles, and Elise, it seems you already have a question.
They thought that 10 unique users were going to play the Da Vinci
Right,
Code.
we know at least 15 people will play this.
Every twist and turn.
Sometimes you play a game and there comes a twist so out there that you're like, oh man, I want to play this with my cousins and my mom.
Jesus fucked Mary Magdalene. Spoiler.
Don't spoil the Bible for me. I was gonna read it. Do you remember what a big deal the Da Vinci Code was?
Yes.
And then people recommended it to me, and then I respect those people less.
Human beings found a commonality in the Da Vinci Code, in the text, in that it was the only book most people finished.
Listen closely. Did Tom Hanks' brother do the voice?
The position of his feet reinforces the reference to the pinnacle.
Hey there, Buzz!
Move the towel.
Yeah, there's a clue under there. Yeah.
Hello, Todd Horrocks.
Todd Horrocks.
Todd Horrocks speaking.
I'm from the film Large.
No, that is the right number.
Ah, that's Audrey Tattoo.
C'est ça, oui! Ah, maman, comme c'est comme ça.
Monsieur,
Bonjour, salut,
a pleasure to
Audrey.
meet you, Mr. Hanks. Please, call me Da Vinci Code.
Would it be better if she was like a French Canadian? I find the Quebec accent to be the most funny of all of them.
Oh,
really?
Because he's like this.
It's like a swan.
You can't dub a movie in Quebec and then send it to France. They'll send it right back.
Look, I turned the subtitles on so you guys can enjoy it.
Wow. Okay, now the video starts.
Here we go. Who's Robert?
They've really captured the intense excitement you feel walking through a museum.
Talk to that guy again.
Stop talking to people. Find a clue.
Babe,
you
babe,
clearly
talk to
can't
me.
leave. You're trapped in the area. You can't look at his body, so there's got to be a clue somewhere else. We should have all gotten copies of the book to see if we could outrun Elise playing the game.
No.
Speedrunner.
I remember reading that
Pull
book
it
in
up
about...
on Audible and let's see if we can.
Just roll it and
Yeah.
see how fast it'll go.
You can get through that thing in a day. It's like a Goosebumps.
No, we don't need a walkthrough. It's the first thing.
I think the game broke. Why don't you just try restarting it?
Use your other save point. We gotta look at this guy's donger again.
We get to.
I love how your pitch for this, James, was this will be the finale. This is gonna be so great. It's definitely bad enough to be in a trash can. I'm not sure it's bad enough, like, for entertainment.
Okay, so I have to tell the captain that the message is from an injured friend back home and then ask to use the restroom.
Elise, can you explain everything that's happened that I've not paid attention to from the whole game?
It's really hard to focus on this with you guys chatting behind me.
All right.
Oh.
You should stop.
Okay, well, just be quiet so you can read.
Imagine just how terrible it would be to be called to a murder scene and then have diarrhea. Like, because can you really excuse yourself?
Well, I'm saying Hanks has to pretend like he's shitting in there to throw the detective's office.
Oh, that makes much more
Yeah.
sense. That's what a good detective would do.
Wait, he went in there with her though.
Well, she's got to pretend she's shitting too.
Oh, okay. So they're like, oh man, I got real bad diarrhea. I had ice cream before I came. And they're like, oh, me too. Oh, I had custard before I came. Let's go in the bathroom. And you hear them. Jesus Christ, fuck Mary Magdalene.
I think there's been so many movies where people kick down bathroom doors that the companies that make those should really reinforce them at this point.
You're right. Someone should write and shoot a sketch that acknowledges the trope and then subverts it.
Yeah, if only there was a show that had a sketch like that.
I just want you to remember, as you're going through this game, 2 is the lowest prime number. Good luck.
Wait, what?
2 is the lowest prime number. Good luck. All right, at least that's what you're born to do.
What? Now I don't know how to do this. I couldn't pay attention to what he was saying because you kept doing your prime number
Just
bit.
well, remember what I told you. Oh man, I got real bad diarrhea.
The male taint?
Words is my is my least best quality.
The Nemo. And he looks at me and he goes, Sophie, of course, the Nemo Sin.
Sin.
Oh,
Of
what?
course.
Sin meat.
Ooh la. Sin meat hola.
Hola, sin meat.
I'm pressing the hint button, but nothing's happening.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Hey Google, what's the answer to the first puzzle from the Da Vinci Code on Xbox?
The Mona Lisa.
The
Mona
Lisa.
Whoa!
We're so
Google
dumb.
comes through.
But maybe
I was gonna say that. Probably.
Yeah, the tip of my tongue.
if I'd been able to listen to the game, we probably would have gotten it.
Unfortunately, we don't have that option.
Whenever I see the comments on a Funhouse video, they're like, I wish those guys would just shut up so we could listen to the game.
Yeah. The most popular and the best version of our channel is one where we sit quietly and say nothing and play the game through in its entirety.
That's why I love hanging out with you guys outside of work. I don't feel any pressure. It's almost like hanging out with no one.
There's so many moments where we're hanging out with Zach, and then we'll have like a long conversation with him, maybe 45 minutes or whatever, and at the end of it, he'll go, "Who's there?" The best thing about Dan Brown is that he's not even a good writer when it comes to coming up with his own name.
Guys, come on, help me out here.
All right, okay, so you need to get past the guards, right?
Yeah. Flash him your beaver.
Dress up like a rabbit dressed up like a woman, and then you can distract anything.
I think you should just go out and let them know what you're doing, and maybe they'll be cool with it.
Tell him your granddaughter Jesus. Right, maybe what happens when you creep towards him?
Pontius was a bitch. Yeah, just stay in the shadows.
No, there's no way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Attack.
Oh, he got you.
Okay. X.
Oh my God.
B.
Oh
okay.
Hold on, you gotta hit the button.
That's like a pretty high level crime.
Jeez.
Citing law enforcement.
X.
Yeah, blocked it. B. Nice. Nice job. This is exciting, even though you're not doing anything.
I wish this whole game was just a series of museum fights.
My best favorite is the other guard over there.
Not my job.
Does she know karate in the movie?
Yeah, absolutely.
Knock out that officer to get
So many things on screen.
Guys, there's
don't
so
like
much
this.
stuff on the screen. It's like a freaking CVS receipt.
Oh my God!
Whoa! Whoa! Hey, all right.
Push him down.
Oh, okay.
I just he's hired here to protect the museum, and this 112-pound woman goes, no, not like this.
Oh no! Oh
He's
no!
choking her.
Oh,
Oh shit!
you got 3 guards against 1 Amelie?
Oh my God!
That was like a psychic
This is
punch.
violence.
Oh my God!
Oh my God! Is she down?
She's dead.
When
Well,
do
you're not
we get
sneaking.
to the next level?
Well,
You can't do this, Zach. Every time we play a game, you can't just ask for us to hit the next level
Damn
button.
it!
anybody see any weapons?
Well, maybe there's something near.
Oh,
there
this.
it
You
is.
sneak up
You
on
gotta
him.
crouch. You gotta crouch,
Okay. Pick that
Press
up.
A.
Take.
This should be useful.
and then sneak up to him.
This could be useful to knock someone
Whoa.
out.
All right. And crack him.
Stealth attack.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, shit.
What the fuck?
Someone finds him, they will call for backup.
All right, let's find a clue.
Ah.
Oh man.
First try.
That's what Dan Brown said when he finished the novel.
Kerthunk! The body hits the ground, and her bosoms shake with a heavy, like 2 heavy pendulums swinging from her collarbone.
God, they were huge.
She moves into the next room to take a look at the Mona Lisa and can't help but notice that Mona Lisa also has huge knockers.
Oh shit, Mona Lisa's a painting?
So we learn now that Sophie's grandfather, murdered, was a member of a secret society.
Yep.
Victor Hugo.
Victor Hugo. All these famous men.
Leonardo
Okay?
da Vinci.
No women.
Oh man, another word
guys.
puzzle.
Sweet.
It's Mona Lisa.
It's Elvish.
He just said they look like random symbols, and this
did.
is literally his job as
Yeah.
a symbologist.
It would have been cool if this game had all these plaques. Actually, you could like pop them out and read them what the art was and look at the art. That'd be cool.
You'd want just a game of a museum?
I think that's what she's saying.
I've actually been to the Mona Lisa.
So have I.
It's all right.
It's smaller than you'd think.
It's smaller and it's behind glass.
Well, yeah, because some asshole tried to steal it
Funny.
because he used to not be famous.
Yeah, well, you know, you live and you learn. But when I went to the Mona Lisa, I just zoomed right up to it, and you're not supposed to, but since I was in a wheelchair, they were fine with it. And then I was with Aaron, so I was like, Aaron, set me down on the floor, and you get in the chair and go do the same thing. But they remembered the chair.
Oh. Hey, so you're just signing random letters to symbols right now.
Yeah, but I don't know how I get out of
Well, you
this.
start with the 1. That's your Rosetta Stone.
If Words with Friends has taught me anything, I guess it hasn't. This is a pretty good representation of how I felt about the movie when I saw it, though. Not often that you can translate a level of boredom into a different medium so well.
They did it.
I am one of those people that when there's people talking around me, and someone's speaking at me, it's so hard for me to focus.
Do you want to swap?
You chose a terrible career.
I just need people to
So
Da Vinci painted.
Those that knew between Bacchus and Uriel lies the clue.
Imagine if you wanted an Xbox for Christmas and this was the first game you got.
Getting good, guys. It's getting good.
Is it? All we had to do was not say anything for 20 minutes, and then you solve the puzzle.
When do we get to move on with our lives?
Oh my God, they're beating shit out of
come
Robert.
on, man. They're just zoologists and shit. Let them be.
You want to know where I learned how to be a cryptozoologist? In the Marines.
They're kicking so much ass.
Oh, man.
That's what they're known
Who is a better fighter, Audrey Tattoo or Todd Sporks? Can we switch to the game where you guys answer questions or
open house?
Okay, yeah, we can
Oh
do
yeah,
it.
do you want to respond to a comment from the last video
Let's
that you were in?
respond to a comment.
This
Here.
comment comes from D. Brown. I think the game looks great.
Thoughts?
Yeah,
No, look up a comment from the last time Zach was in the
yeah,
video.
let's just talk. Welcome to the open house.
Ulfer Fenrir says, Zach missed a big joke. When James slammed him on the sofa, he should have said, ugh, I can't feel my legs. But you can feel it.
That's great. But the problem is that I would just be misinforming people because I've always been able to feel my legs.
Yeah.
There's not much of them, and they're way too. Look at how much hair is on. I got a real person's leg hair and a fake person's legs. I want to at least get to the Ian McKellen part. He's in this, right?
Is he? He plays a pope?
He's got a cane. He's pretending to be disabled, and then they knock him over.
We don't say that.
And then the final code's in his cane.
He just keeps saying it.
Pretending to be a disabled. Jeez. What do you think I'm pretending to be?
Will Robert and Sophie survive another night at the museum? Tune in next time when we don't play the Da Vinci Code.
Oh, that sounds like a great out. That's where I would cut it.
Well, there's my gun. There's my spinneroony.
My spinneroony, my wallaby, down, turn around.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Lights, Camera, Trash. We have a very special guest today.
Scandal has once again rocked the world of competitive chess, as one of its biggest up-and-coming talents has not only been accused of cheating, but doing so in probably the coolest, funniest way possible. Of course, the man involved is denying the accusations that his meteoric rise through the ranks of competitive chess is somehow the result of nefarious tactics, but that hasn't stopped the controversy from dominating the chess world and bringing one of its biggest events to a screeching halt as players and officials alike are forced to ponder whether or not American Grandmaster Hans Niemann had remote control anal beads shoved up his ass, which were sending him targeted prostate vibrations based on whether or not he was making the right moves on a chessboard.
Wow, that's a lot more elaborate than just banging on a trash can.
Yeah, that's the Astros were doing it wrong. They should have been installing anal beads in all of the players on the field.
All these Astros players looked really uncomfortable.
Or really pleasurable. Center field's going nuts. He's just on the ground tussling around, loving it.
So we're not exactly the most up-to-date when it comes to the intricate details of current competitive chess events and the drama that may or may not take place there. But it's hard to avoid the biggest names in sports, even if you're not an everyday follower of that sport. And one of the most prominent names in the world of chess in recent years has been Magnus Carlsen, who was a child prodigy who earned the title of Grandmaster at age 13. Now, at age 31, he has been ranked #1 for over a decade and has numerous world titles under his belt, which includes winning the title of World Chess Champion 5 times. So, when a younger player joins the big leagues, starts immediately dominating the world of chess, and eventually takes down Magnus Carlsen, well, that's going to turn some heads. It's going to raise a few eyebrows. And it might even pucker a few buttholes.
Yes.
Which buttholes? Well, that's the question.
That remains to be seen. Now, the player in question is, of course, Hans Niemann, a 19-year-old prodigy in his own right from California who has been playing and competing in chess tournaments since he was around 10 years old. He's also rapidly worked his way through the ranks to be able to compete in events all over the world, including this year's Sinkfield Cup, which is part of the larger International Grand Chess Tour. Now, also, it should be pointed out that Niemann is also a Twitch streamer who streams online matches using the site chess.com. That'll come up in a second. But anyways, this kid, he's good. I mean, he's really, really good. So good, in fact, that at this year's Sinkfield Cup, which has been taking place over the past few days, Niemann did the unthinkable and ended Magnus Carlsen's 53-game winning streak, beating him in the 3rd round of the event. Then, rubbing salt in the wounds by saying in a post-match interview, "It must be embarrassing for the world champion to lose to me. I feel bad for him. Easy clap." The easy clap is implied because of the Twitch stream.
Right, yeah. So whether it was his uncouth taunting or the shock that Magnus had been beaten by a Twitch streamer, accusations of cheating quickly made their way around the event and online. Officials and security at the event coordinated some kind of precautionary messages before the next round, and according to one outlet, delayed the match by 15 minutes as they stepped up their attempts to ensure that no one was cheating by smuggling in any equipment. Niemann was reportedly scanned for 90 seconds on his way to play. Shortly after that, Magnus Carlsen withdrew from the tournament, confirming the decision on his official Twitter account, alongside a video of European soccer coach Jose Mourinho saying during a press conference, "If I speak, I am in big trouble, and I don't want to be in big trouble."
So not exactly playing things down.
No.
Just, adding more fuel to the fire.
Sore loser, this guy. So,
or something else.
So the flames were fanned further by a tweet from the Director General of the International Chess Federation, which stated, "No matter how his tournaments went, Magnus Carlsen never quit. He must have had a compelling reason, or at least he believes he has it. Don't call him sore loser or disrespectful. I shall not speculate on the reasons of his withdrawal, but probably would expect TD to air them."
Yeah, so firing back immediately, you do not call this man a sore loser.
I just did.
Well, you're going to be on the radar of the International Chess Federation.
He's just embarrassed he lost to a Twitch streamer.
Yeah, I think so too. But much like you
that is embarrassing.
You can request a docket of the FBI's records on any person, just to check. If you submitted a claim to the Chess Federation now, they'd be like, "Oh, Elliot, yes, that guy that called out Magnus Carlsen."
We've got him in our files listed as a hater.
Yeah,
he's a big hater.
Anyways, yes, when you have this guy being something else is going on, and also Magnus Carlsen being something is going on, it's going to send the chess world mad.
Yeah, they're piping, steaming mad.
Yeah, so they're obviously in a frenzy, and the chess world has been rocked in what Vice describes as, quote, "a firestorm of gossip since the loss, with many observers tracking the allegations and counter-allegations in minute-by-minute detail." And their reporting also indicated that direct accusations of cheating in the chess world are rare and often hard to prove. But there was a recent proof of concept that involved using vibration-based buttons in a player's shoes to communicate with a Raspberry Pi Zero running the open-source Stockfish chess engine hidden somewhere in the player's clothing. In a write-up of that proof of concept, the device's designer wrote that, quote, "I was planning to recruit a plausibly good chess player to use the shoes to win the world championship, and that he was planning on creating an updated version of the cheating device. Quote, this proof of concept only needed to fool my mates in a pub for the duration of 2 games. To win the world championships, we're going to have to get much more serious." That post has gone viral on Hacker News, though there is no evidence that this device or any other was used by Niemann.
So even so, having a device hidden on you would be a gigantic risk, especially if there were accusations of cheating. So you'd have to be sneakier than that. If the whole thing's going to fall apart if they just take your shoe off, well...
That would be too easy.
Yeah, so, where could you hide something small, something that vibrates, while still allowing for the highest level of secrecy. You're thinking it, we're thinking it. Apparently, the entire chess world's thinking it. Yes, the accusations went viral, and that was that Hans Niemann had potentially shoved wireless vibrating anal beads up his ass in order to pass security checks and take down the #1 chess player in the world. This theory was first given a platform by another Twitch streamer named Chess Bra during their coverage of the event.
That's probably a good one, right? An anal bead probably would beat the thing. I'm serious. If the engine, it would probably. I don't know. I really don't know. Like, think about it. I don't know. I told you it was a prostate massage. But I'm not an expert at that stuff.
But it really caught fire when someone very specific promoted it to his massive follower base, and who is both famous and notorious for perpetuating unsubstantiated rumors as a goof. Who could that be? Elon Musk, who tweeted, then for some reason deleted, an altered quote that read, "Talent hits a target no one else can hit. Genius hits a target no one can see, because it's in your butt." In reference to a clip that made the initial claims of cheating via anal bead.
Yeah, he wanted to have his 2 cents in this international scandal. But then, for some reason, out of all of the things that Elon Musk has left up through the years, he deleted this one.
I should probably shut the fuck up.
Because Elon Musk knows that you do not fuck with the Chess Federation, Elliot.
Chess is no laughing matter.
You are on a hit list now, sir. They're going to knock your king over.
Yeah. Do not serve this man. So yeah, with the claim originator tweeting out that he is, quote, the flattered owner of the anal bead theory that made its way all the way to Elon.
Yeah, that's what the Chess Bra said. He was like proud that Elon had taken on this charge as well.
Okay.
But what if the allegations were true? All right, maybe he didn't shove something up his ass to cheat, or maybe he did. But either way, what if Niemann cheated? Well, apparently his past might come back to haunt him because amidst the drama surrounding these latest accusations, Niemann admitted that he has cheated, but only during online matches through chess.com and in the past. He's now actually, because of these admissions and chess.com doing their own research, a little do your own research here, Niemann has been banned from the platform. From a separate article on Vice, during an interview with St. Louis Chess Club, Niemann revealed that chess.com had taken action to remove access to his account and banned him from playing in the chess.com Global Championship over the accusations. Niemann claimed that all the backlash and unearthing of past dirt were motivated by self-interest and a sort of mob mentality. "I believe this is completely unfair," he said. "This is a targeted attack. And if you look at my games, it has nothing to do with my games. So why does the CEO of chess.com come to me and say, we're looking forward to having you at the Global Chess Championship, we're looking forward to you playing in our events, and then right when I beat Magnus, they decide to remove my account and not let me play in the tournaments? Is it suspicious timing, or does that man have something in his asshole?"
The reporting continues. Niemann admitted to cheating on chess.com in the past, but claimed that the 2 times he did were involving trivial, non-over-the-board games, and that he was only a child, as he was 12 and 16 when it happened. Quote, "I just wanted to get higher rated so I could play stronger players, so I cheated in random games on chess.com, he said. Now I was confronted, I confessed, and this is the single biggest mistake of my life, and I'm completely ashamed. And I'm telling the world because I do not want any misrepresentation, and I do not want rumors. I have never cheated in an over-the-board game." Chess.com released its own statement Thursday countering his claims, which said, "At this time, we have reached out to Hans Niemann to explain our decision to privately remove him from chess.com and our events. We have shared detailed evidence with him concerning our decision, including information that contradicts his statements regarding the amount and seriousness of his cheating on chess.com."
This is a scandal that is so massive in scale, so broad in its reach, that it shakes me to my core.
Yeah.
Are other sports at risk of having cheaters play in them? Well, I guess we'll never know.
It was sick. Yeah.
But the community seems to be torn, with some saying that he won fair and square based on a horrible start to the match from Magnus. Everyone's like, why would he do such a stupid move? Clearly, Niemann just took advantage of this. But as for Niemann himself, he claims that the chess.com stuff is obviously just overblown. It's being used to mischaracterize him, and that he is more than happy to play completely naked in these tournaments if that pleases the judges and allows him to continue his illustrious
But there's a problem
career.
there, because even naked, if the device is fully implanted, he'd have to spread them for the camera.
Well, for the judges,
And I don't think most people want to see that.
Yes, but something would have to be hanging out to make it retrievable.
All right, let's go.
Yeah.
He's clean.
Exactly. It's like how, since last year, umpires have had to physically check pitchers for sticky stuff to make sure they're not using it as an advantage. They're going to have to check every chess player's asshole going forward. Because once the accusation's made, it's not going away. It's not going away. But we're going to be honest. We didn't think such a titillating chess scandal was even possible, yet here we are. Sadly, that is not the only scandal rocking the wide world of sports, because over on the strictly digital esports side of things, the Warner Brothers Super Smash-esque game Multiverses has already been forced to ban a powerful special move from their game. A white woman can no longer finish other characters by calling the cops on them. Sad.
Yeah.
It's a move that unfortunately, yet predictably, produced a screenshot and of course a corresponding video of the game which showed Velma calling the cops on LeBron James. First, here's the clip from YouTuber Chaos Productions.
You're in big trouble now. Cuff 'em.
And here's the story and update from PC Gamer.
The big brain of the Scooby Gang won't call the police on opponents anymore.
She has been stopped.
Velma's passive in Multiverses enables her to generate evidence when she lands attacks that she can pick up during a fight. Once she's accumulated enough, she can call the police, who will come rolling in and arrest the opposing player. It's her ultimate ability, basically a splashy payoff that can guarantee a kill if an enemy team does nothing. As of yesterday, however, that's no longer the case. As described in the patch notes, instead of calling the police, Velma now solves the mystery and calls the Mystery Inc. gang and the Mystery Machine to take the bad guys away. No reason for the change was given, but it's fair to say that the image of Velma calling the cops on her opponents, under false pretenses no less, because she tells them it's actually Old Man Jenkins, is at the very least uncomfortable at a time when police abuses and criminality, amidst almost complete impunity from consequences, are coming under increasing public scrutiny.
Look, the image is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's
Velma,
like
such a Karen.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I'm not sure why they didn't just do the Mystery Machine from the start, since it adds more like fun, nostalgic content to the game.
Yeah, it's like there's
more
the Mystery
sense.
Machine. Yeah.
In addition to not making Velma look like just the latest Karen to use the police as her personal security force by claiming those around her are committing crimes.
Yes.
Still, pretty incredible that it made it through what we assume were multiple rounds of testing. So, oh yeah, no. Now that you mentioned it, pretty fucked up.
But let's check in on a member of the Internet Today Rogues Gallery really quick, because Fire Festival founder Billy McFarland has been, well, he was released from jail a while back, but it was into like a halfway house scenario. But he has been officially released, just a normal everyday member of the public now. And he is already back to enjoying his New York City socialite status and is literally so close to announcing some sort of cryptocurrency or NFT project that you can almost taste it. He is right on the cusp. It is there. Just do it. So the night he was officially released, around 4 years after being sentenced to 6 years in prison, McFarland threw himself a party alongside friends and even former employees. But now he has to focus on how he'll pay back the more than $25 million that he owes in restitution to his victims. And obviously the tech space is on his radar. Now here's the New York Times, who interviewed McFarland after his release. Quote, "I'd like to do something tech-based," McFarland said. "The good thing with tech is that people are so forward-thinking, and they're more apt at taking risk." He continued, adding, "If I worked in finance, I think it would be harder to get back. Tech is more open, and the way I failed is totally wrong, but in a certain sense, failure is okay in entrepreneurship."
You get knocked down, but I get up again, you know.
Fire Festival, it was merely a stepping stone on my journey to
it was
tech greatness.
It was a beta.
Yeah.
And we're out of beta now, baby.
Don't worry.
Out of prison and out of beta. Their reporting continues. They add that Mr. McFarland mulled whether he would prefer to work for himself or someone else. Quote, "At the end of the day, I think I could probably create the most value by building some sort of tech product," he said. "Whether that's within a company or by starting my own company, I'm open to both. I'll probably decide in the next couple of weeks which path to go do." He said he was not particularly interested in crypto, though he would make an exception for the latest frontier in blockchain technology, decentralized autonomous organizations, which he said were allowing people to come together online to affect real-world change in a way they previously couldn't, taking people to places they couldn't get to, and once they're there, enabling them to affect real-world change. I don't know what he's saying, but it sounds like he's gonna fucking do it.
He's gonna do it.
He's gonna do it.
Yeah, we're
do it,
waiting.
Billy. Come on.
Come on.
Do it.
Say it. Say the line.
Say the line, Billy.
In the meantime, though, it looks like maybe he'll focus on more philanthropic goals.
Yeah.
Though, as the New York Times points out, despite starting a brand with great intentions while he was in prison, it was rendered useless just days after launching, but not before McFarland could take credit for a nationwide policy change. McFarland led a drive called Project 315, which raised money to cover the costs of calls between underprivileged inmates and their families. 4 days after the project's Instagram launch, fees were waived nationwide. We did it, the Instagram account associated with Mr. McFarland's nonprofit organization said, claiming credit. In fact, the suspension of fees came after campaigning by Senator Amy Klobuchar and a group of other Democratic senators that had begun well before Mr. McFarland got the idea.
We did it.
Which, look, end result is good. And who's to say it wasn't Billy McFarland's days-old initiative and not something that lawmakers had been working on for a while?
Yeah.
I mean, same positive ending, so way to go, Billy.
We did it.
Yeah, anyways.
Really turning a new leaf.
We do hope that he has learned his lessons and that he does, you know, maybe he uses his next steps to do something good for the world.
Sure, yeah.
But we also refuse to be shocked when he inevitably announces some sort of crypto project.
Yeah, come on. Stop jerking us around, Billy. We know what you're about to do.
Yeah, stop the edging.
Do it. Do it. Anyway, let's check in now on those Brits, those poor Brits, and make sure that they're okay, because obviously it's been a very tough weekend for them. They're stiff upper lips, just quivering amidst the loss of their queen. The official national period of mourning has begun in the UK, which is it's like the opposite of the purge. You can only go outside if you're bringing flowers or marmalade to makeshift shrines to the queen, which are everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's okay. Look, a little extreme, but there are certain things that you just can't do during the period of mourning. Like apparently buying pick and mix candy from certain kiosks, which are now closed in the Queen's honor.
Yeah.
In addition to that, though, British weather services have limited their productions to only provide daily forecasts and specific warnings. Sporting matches, live events, and concerts have been canceled, though the government points out that they are free to take place if the organizers so choose. But if they do, they know that if they do it, people are going to be like, well, that's a bit disrespectful, don't you think?
That's a bit much, isn't it?
She's only been dead for 48 hours.
Nando's has come out and said no cheeky banter for the next week.
Cheeky banter is banned.
If we hear any lads crack a smile in any of our...
Get out! The Nando's is temporarily not cheeky.
Back in the Batmobile and away from this location. In addition to all of that, though, London Fashion Week events have been postponed or canceled because who could think of fashion at a time like
this? Now that the world's lost its greatest fashion icon.
Yes. The railway strike has been put on hold temporarily, which, nice of them, I guess.
I didn't know they were still going. Good for them.
And you cannot, by the way, under any circumstances, park your bicycle at a government-operated bike rack for the entire length of the mourning period. You cannot attach your bike to a fucking bike rack. So, but most shocking of all is that they came for gamers.
They targeted gamers.
Yeah, that's right. Due to the nation being in mourning, the Nintendo Direct live stream will not be shown in the UK and will only be accessible after the event airs live for all of us. The UK can only watch it in VOD. So they won't get the excitement, the edge of their seat feeling when Nintendo announces a new title.
Yeah.
They'll have to find out later.
Damn.
Which is really sad. As a mark of respect during this period of national mourning, we will not live stream tomorrow's Nintendo Direct. It will be published as a video on demand on our YouTube channel at 1600 hours UK time tomorrow. And by the way, we were only joking about mourners leaving marmalade. You're actually not allowed to do that anymore. It was reported that thousands upon thousands of Paddington dolls and marmalade sandwiches have been left at various sites, and this obviously not great. It brings in birds. It brings in rodents.
I do not understand why Paddington has played such a large role in this period of mourning.
He's all they have left. He's the one beacon of hope. And also,
this is a country with like
you cannot character assassinate Paddington.
I guess.
Look, Paddington is the one good thing, and the reason that they're tied so closely together. I can't remember. It wasn't for the Olympics. I think it was for the Jubilee. She did a bit with Paddington.
Right.
She literally did like the Hillary Clinton "I keep hot sauce in my bag."
Yeah.
To sound cool.
Yeah.
She did the Paddington. She keeps
keep Paddington in my bag.
No, she keeps a marmalade sandwich everywhere she goes.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't actually do that.
But that's why everyone.
It was a bit. She's not actually friends with Paddington. He's not real.
Between that cameo with Paddington and also the fact that Paddington is like the one good thing that they still have.
Yeah.
This is why it's happening.
They're leaving marmalade sandwiches and like silenced Walther PPK pistols for James Bond. And they're leaving telephone booths.
Doctor Who booths.
Yeah.
So, all the things.
All the British things that we love. They're leaving those on the side of the road.
You know who I would hate to be right now? The new director of Paddington, who is taking over after the first two. I can't remember who it is, but I know that the original Paddington director is not doing the next one. So I'd really hate to be whoever that is.
Yeah.
Seems like a impossible task. Because now, aside from making a good Paddington movie, you have to bring the country together.
You do. I mean, those movies are essentially propaganda from the British government, but they're just so fun.
Yeah, they are great, and they do the job.
Films.
Look, when I'm finished watching Paddington 2 for the 100th time, which at this point it might be, I actually own it's one of the only films that I've actually purchased over the years. When I finish watching it, I go, the UK has done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
It is a perfect place.
We should give them the colonies back.
Yeah.
Look at what they could do with those colonies.
Oh, I'm sorry. Random nations around the world don't like tea time.
It's just such a cute country.
You know what's
give
actually
them the colonies back.
You know what's actually funny that I watched this week of all the times to watch it is the Bollywood film RRR.
I haven't been able to block out like 4 fucking hours to watch it, but I hear it's very fun.
It's incredible, but there's also a scene where like the royal crown with the slogan "The sun will never set." I believe it's "The sun will never set" on the British Empire. Just gets blood blasted across it.
Cool.
I was like, this is a bit much. My upper lip is quivering.
So disrespectful. They should remove that scene if they haven't already.
It's a fucking awesome movie. Yeah.
Anyway, Royal Parks officials have said they said we would prefer visitors not to bring non-floral objects / artifacts such as teddy bears or balloons. The advice was also shared with the BBC as presenter Sally Nugent told viewers they are suggesting that there are enough Paddingtons and marmalade sandwiches in the parks at the moment, so please feel free to bring flowers, but maybe don't bring any more Paddingtons or marmalade sandwiches for now.
Please.
It's a big problem.
This is a special report from the BBC.
This is just like the Parks Department just bulldozing just mountains of Paddingtons, burying them in a pit.
I can hear, because we've done work trips in the UK, and I always fall asleep with the BBC on. I can literally hear like the TikTok, like the tick, 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 breaking news. The BBC has banned local citizens from bringing more marmalade into our parks.
Marmalade flying off the shelf.
Yeah.
In addition to those types of tributes, a Queen Elizabeth impersonator who's been on the job for over 30 years has now retired in response to the Queen's death.
Yeah.
So here's Newsweek. 89-year-old Mary Reynolds, who lives in Essex, was among the Britons glued to the television as Queen Elizabeth's health took a turn. For over 3 decades, she has represented the late monarch in film and television roles. She appeared in the 1990 comedy Bullseye alongside the late Sir Richard Moore, and in an episode of Doctor Who's 25th anniversary series in 1988. Was she in The Naked Gun? Who's that queen?
That was maybe one of the American queens.
Oh.
Just doing a fun accent.
So I'm guessing like she's probably, it's like twins, they die within days of each other.
Could be that,
this lady's probably going to die now. It's fucked up.
But their reporting continues. When a Russian television company approached her for an impersonation after the Queen's death on Thursday, Reynolds said she had to decline. I said, the only way I would dress up as the Queen would be in a black dress, Reynolds told the PA news agency.
In a coffin.
Jeez.
Put her in a coffin. Whoop!
She's back. But knowing Russian pranksters. There's been a history of trying to do nefarious things that end up being pranks, and they could have been trying to prank people with a queen impersonator.
I mean, they honestly, you know what I think about the monarchy, but like people clearly have an emotional connection to this specific queen.
Yeah.
So like, maybe just keep hiring a new someone who looks a lot like her, like to just keep going. Like, so just there's only ever the only monarch there will ever be again is Queen Elizabeth II, and you know, when Queen Elizabeth dies, they just hire one that's like 20 years younger, but still old enough. Yeah, so then Britain always has a little old lady that is just sort of there and comes out for Christmas and has a lot of dogs, and then they can feel good about it.
Murders potential dissenters.
Yeah, kills daughters
allegedly. But yeah, you'd think that now would be the perfect time for this lady, but the lookalike said she was deeply saddened by the monarch's passing, but she felt fortunate for a long career as her doppelganger. Quote, "You do sort of realize that will be the end as far as I'm concerned. Out of respect, I don't think one should do anything." And speaking of respect, ma'am, I mean this with all due respect, but if there's any time to cash in on acting as and looking like the queen, it's probably right after she's gone.
Yeah, your main competition's been knocked out. This is a tremendous opportunity.
But people mourn in different ways. So who are we to judge? Bees, on the other hand, well, we're not exactly sure if they can feel the loss of a human being, but if they could, now would be the time, because according to the Daily Mail, the royal beekeeper has informed the queen's bees that the queen has died. Here's more from their reporting.
The royal beekeeper, in an arcane tradition thought to date back centuries, has informed the hives kept in the grounds of Buckingham Palace and Clarence House of the Queen's death. This is not a real country. It's a fake fucking country.
Shut up! They are mourning.
It's a made-up country.
You don't know anyone who's ever done something a little weird when they're in mourning? Just let these people mourn, goddammit.
And the bees have also been told, in hushed tones, that their new master is King Charles III. Shut up! No! What?
It's another technical thing where the monarchy has gone in, takes everything that's worthwhile to this community, meaning their honey in this case.
This British thing has really jumped the shark. This is getting ridiculous. The official palace beekeeper, John... I thought it said Chappie. John Chappell, 79, told Mail Online how he traveled to Buckingham Palace and Clarence House on Friday following news of the Queen's death to carry out the superstitious ritual. He placed black ribbons tied into bows on the hives, home to tens of thousands of bees, before informing them that their mistress had died and that a new master would be in charge from now on. He then urged the bees to be good to their new master. Himself, once famed for talking to plants. What? The strange ritual is underpinned by an old superstition that not to tell them of a change of owner would lead to the bees not producing honey, leaving the hive, or even dying.
It's because, you know, in a beehive, if the queen dies or whatever, like the bees don't know what to do.
True. Yeah, they are very matriarchal.
Do you think Queen Elizabeth had like those pheromones where now that she's gone, like the people around her, including her bees and corgis, will not know what to do?
Yeah, she had an army of bees and she just get them.
The entire UK just wanders aimlessly for the next 40 years. Just like, well, what the fuck do we do?
Yeah. Yeah.
She had these Werther's originals that led everyone around like she was some kind of Pied Piper. Now they're gone.
Well, I hope those bees adjust. You know, they've only ever known this queen, so it's got to be tough.
In the meantime, some fucking dude just screaming at Prince Andrew during the funeral procession. Just like, you filthy old man.
Yeah, calling him a pedo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he is, but...
We're bringing back public executions here in the UK, and that guy's first.
Yeah, no, they've arrested like several people for not being sad enough.
Yet Prince Andrew walks away unscathed.
Yeah, interesting.
Weird morals. Anyways, yeah, everything seems to be in order over there in the UK. We'll never mention it again.
Yeah.
We mentioned it 2 weeks ago, and look what happened.
Yeah.
I feel partly responsible.
That's enough about the UK.
Surely nothing else will happen.
I've seen enough.
Yeah. Anyways, that's it for today's episode. If you haven't seen it already, what is going on with rich people giving horses as
right. Yeah, I just finished. the movie. It is bad. Hey folks, how's it going? I just woke up at like 3 in the morning. I couldn't sleep. And I decided to watch the newest live action, quote unquote, remake of one of Disney's beloved films, Pinocchio. Guys, Pinocchio, the original, is one of the most beautiful films ever made. I implore you to go back and watch the film, look at the backgrounds. It's funny because like Snow White, when they first made it, that was the first animated film. And it was rough around the edges, but the fact that an animated film was made at all was mind-blowing. So when they did the second film, being Pinocchio, that's when they really opened up. There are moments in Pinocchio that are just downright brilliant, especially with the water. Like back then, to animate water to that degree, what the hell? Like that's next level stuff. Now the visuals, great.